Okay, I tried doing this already and I did the entire thing and didn't record it, so I have to do it again. So, but okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna show you how to texture the new cell shaded anime style skin things that came out this update. It's not hard. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. It's just some simple cell shading. So first I'm gonna leave a link in the description to my cell shader that I use for all my stuff, and I'll also leave the link to the video that I watched that helped me put it together. So you're gonna want to get that. You're gonna want to download that and put that into your project. So I'm just gonna copy it from the model. So when you paste it in, you can delete the principal BDSF and plug in the color to the surface. So you can already see that when you plug it in, it has the cell shading effect on the skin. So now I'm gonna set up the actual channels for this cell shading. So basically it's just going to be black, gray, and white. So you can Shift A, search, and then look up color ramp and drop that in. And then get a shader to RGB and plug the color into the factor of the color ramp. And then get a diffuse BDSF and plug that into the shader. And then on the color ramp, where it says linear, turn that into constant, and then drag the white all the way back. And then click the plus sign and make sure you have this middle one selected and make that a grayish color. So just put it at half. After you plug it in and you move these sliders around, you can see that it'll have the effect, and you can control the amount of shadow. So the gray is shadow, and this is just the overall color, and then the white is the highlights. And you can just adjust that to whatever you want once you have your texture plugged in. So now I'm gonna show you how to do the normal map input. So it's literally the exact same as how you would normally texture skin. So Shift A, search, look up normal map, and then get an RGB curves and plug that in and flip the green channel like that. And then just plug the normal map into the diffuse BDSF. So now this is the more complicated section. So I'm gonna put this up here. I'm gonna show you how to do shadow color. Actually, first let me get the texture. I'll just copy it from here. You can go ahead and plug your detexture into. You can put it on your skin, and then plug the color into the diffuse BDSF like that. It'll take a second for it to update. Okay, so once you have your texture plugged in, it's gonna look all funky because you have all these channels and stuff. So now we're gonna do the shadow color. So this is what'll give the illusion of like fake subsurface scattering, or SSS for short. So Shift A, search, and get a mix RGB, and set this mix RGB to multiply. And then what you want to do is take the color of your texture and plug it into color 1, and then color 2 will be your shadow color. So since it's going to be on skin, I'm going to use this hex code that I have, which is FFBBA1, and that's a light tan color. So you can literally just change that to whatever you want, and it'll affect the shadow on the character. So now we need to connect our cell shading group with our shadow color. So just copy Shift D, click the node Shift D, and bring the node over so it copies it to a different spot. Change the multiply to add, and then I'm gonna move this back so more space. Take the color of your color ramp and plug it into the factor of the mix RGB. And then take your multiply and plug it into color 1, and then your detexture and plug it into color 2. Okay, what's up? While editing this, I realized that I didn't tell you what to do with that mix shader. So you can just go ahead and plug it into the base color, and then you'll have what I have in the next clip. So now we have to do this drop shadow-ish effect. So if you look in the folder for the skin's textures, there's some new texture names that you won't recognize, or you might not recognize. There's SSC and DF. I'm not sure. I don't know what these stand for, but just by messing with them, I know how to use them. So I'm going to just copy them over from the other model that I have over here. Right now, you'll only need the the DF texture. So I'll bring that over here and move these out of the way. Put this up here. Hide this for now. Okay. So to do this drive shadow effect, it's really easy. Just get a mix RGB and set it to soft light. Where's soft light? Soft light, right there. And then connect the D to color 1. No, sorry, connect the D to the factor. And then plug this this mix RGB into color 1. And then make this color just a grayish color. So I'm just gonna bring this slider down just a little bit. And then if I plug that in, you can see that you'll start to get this shadow effect around like the zipper and these little areas where the clip, where these lines are, these black lines. Now we're gonna do the final part, which is the outline details. So this is where you need your SSC texture. I'm gonna bring this up here and move these down so they're not in the way. Basically, this is also really easy to set up. Shift A and search and look up separate RGB and plug the color into here. And if you look at this texture, you can see that the parts that we wanna, I guess, make pop out more are in the red channel. So like these red lines follow the same lines that are on this texture. So what you can do is get your separate RGB and then get another mix RGB. So Shift A, mix RGB, and then plug the red into the factor, and then on your soft light mix RGB for your DF texture, you can go ahead and plug that into color 1, and then set color 2 to black. And then you can just plug that into the base color. And once it updates, you'll be able to see that you'll see the extra lines. You can see these lines right here, they're more prominent now. But if I mute this, you can see that they're not. So it just gives it that outline. Okay, so you don't have to do this, it's just what I do just because I find it helpful. I've taken emission shader, the emission BSDF thing, and I just drop it in between here so that if I want to control how strong these textures are, I can just mess with it. This is really good for cell shading, I think, because if something needs to be darker and you don't want to actually mess with your lights, you can just darken the emission of the actual texture. So now we're going to set up the outline. Sorry, my cat. If you look on I'll put a picture on screen of this skin in particular, you can see that the skin has a black outline in game. So that's actually really easy to recreate in Blender. All you have to do is go to your material tab. So if you're on this right here, just go all the way down to the red circle and click the plus sign and click new. And then where it says surface, click principled BSDF and change that to emission. The reason you want to change it to emission is because if you have it on principled BSDF, it's going to have all these other options like specular and metallic, and it's just not gonna look right because you want it to be flat. So you change it to emission. You set the color to black and turn on backface culling. This is important. Make sure you have this on or it's not going to work. So if you select, you can go back to your model. You select the model and you go to the modifiers tab, which is this blue wrench. You click add modifier and look for the modifier that says solidify. And then you'll start to see this like weird outline thing, but we'll fix that in a second. Make sure the rim is checked on fill, and if you go to normals, you click flip, and then you can see it starts to make that outline, but it's still the same texture as the body, so we need to change that. So if you go to materials, you can find what material number this is. So I believe this is 8, and I can make this an 8, and you can see that the black outline appears, but it's too big. It's way too big, actually. So you can just go to thickness, and I recommend making it negative 0.001, or like 001, or sometimes I do 002 or 3. So I'm just gonna do 3 for this, and I'm gonna make it so you can see it better. So you see you have the outline. So that's literally it. And if you want to avoid like these weird artifacts with the solidify modifier, like down here, you can go to thickness clamp and just put that on 2, and that'll fix pretty much, it'll fix most of the artifacts. It'll make them a lot better and make it look way neater on your actual character. And there's just one thing you have to do. You don't have to do it, but I recommend doing it because it'll actually make your thing look a lot better. On the model itself, you can see these weird rings, like these weird colored rings of verts. They're the same texture as the body. It's right here and right here as well. You can just go into edit mode by pressing tab. And if you're wondering how I do that, I just did Shift B and select the area and zoomed in. If you click 2 on your keyboard, you'll have this little line vert select thing. I don't know what it's called. And you can select, you might have to click around, but you can select this outline, Control L, X, and delete edges. And that'll delete that weird funky line. And you can do that right here as well. X, click edges, and it'll get rid of it there. And it's down here, so select L, X, edges. And that fixes that. That's it. If you guys found this helpful, just leave a like, I guess. I'm gonna put more videos of stuff, more Blender tutorials specifically for Fortnite. So if you're interested in that, you can just subscribe or whatever. You can follow me on Twitter. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.